Hey guys, happy Thursday. Jessie Burr here. Today we're going to be talking about something that's super important. So please make sure that you watch this entire video. I know this one's going to be a little bit longer, so if you can't stay on with me live, that's okay. Just make sure that you fully watch this video because I'm going to be going over probably the most important part of your health and fitness journey, which is your nutrition and following these meal plans. So again, please make sure that you're watching the entire video from start to end. If you have any questions, please make sure you ask in the comments below. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to y'all about these containers. I'm going to be talking to y'all about the meal plan guides, where you can find them, how they all work, and just kind of going over some tips and suggestions, some mistakes that people have made in the past, just so that you aren't making those same mistakes, just so that you are fully understanding the meal plan, where you can find them at, all that fun stuff. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is the meal plan, the actual meal guide. So in your challenge pack kits, you got these containers, right? Which I will talk about in a few minutes. And you also got a meal plan guide called the Portion Fix. Now, I definitely love that you got that. I think it is super helpful, but I want to make sure that you understand that each program has a specific meal plan that you need to be following. The Portion Fix is something that's just kind of, it's a lot of our programs, meal plans are based off of it. So it's very similar, but some of our programs are a little different in terms of what's allowed on the meal plan, your calorie brackets, all of that fun stuff, okay? So make sure that whatever program you are choosing, you're going to look at that specific program's meal plan, which you have access to on your Beachbody On Demand, and that you read through that. Again, y'all, the Portion Fix is pretty much the 21-day fix, or the 21-day fix extreme. The extreme is a little different too. And the reason why I'm saying this is because each of our programs are different intensity levels. So if you're doing something like 21-day fix, you actually might be in a different calorie bracket than you would be if you were doing something like 21-day fix extreme or something like shift shop. When I first started, I was in calorie bracket A for 21-day fix, and the different programs that I've done, I've hopped around calorie brackets, meaning like I was in 21-day fix bracket A, and then for hammer and chisel, since I was lifting heavier weights, I was in bracket C, which is 2 jumps up, right? So I just want to make sure that you are following the correct brackets, correct meal plan based off the program you choose, okay? So remember, if you go into your Beachbody On Demand, and I can actually show you this here. So if you go into your Beachbody On Demand, we're going to click on Shift Shop just because that's the first one. So I click on here, I go to Program Materials, and I'm going to come down to where it says Simple Shift Nutrition Guide, okay? So I'm going to click it. And you're going to see, this is easier if you print it out so you can actually have a physical copy. But this is, where you come to figure out your calorie bracket, okay? Again, y'all, it's a little different. Each week this one changes, whereas the regular 21-day fix or Portion Fix, it is the same, okay? So now let's just wanted to put that out there. Just make sure that you're focusing on your specific meal plan, all right? So let me explain how the containers work, and I'm going to kind of base it off of the 21-day fix since majority of you are doing this. Again, please make sure that you're following your specific meal plan, but this is like a generalized, discussion of these containers and how this program and how these meal plans work, okay? So pretty much what you do is you find the calorie bracket, or the calorie calculation, I should say. My book is so old, it's falling apart. Which is why I love using Beachbody On Demand, because I can just pull it up and I don't have to worry about it. But anyway, so you find your calorie equation, we're going to call it, because it pretty much is an equation. Okay, and again, these are different for each program, but we're going to base it off of this 21-day fix book that I have right here, okay? So I put in my current weight, I multiply it by what it says here, and then this bottom number, once I do all of this equation, this bottom number is my calorie target. So what I love about these programs is you're not necessarily counting calories. You're not having to like figure out how many calories are in an apple or how many calories are in a waffle or anything like that. You just know that you're going to start to learn what those food groups are, what an apple is based off of these containers, right? Which is a purple, which is a fruit. Okay, so it takes some time to adjust to. It takes some time to learn, but once you get it down, y'all, it's super simple. All right, super simple. So you figure out your calorie target. So let's just say my calorie target is 1618. Okay, so then I'm gonna go where it breaks it down for each bracket. Okay, and I just said mine was 1618. So that would put me in the second calorie bracket. So what that means is that this is how many times per day I fill up my containers or I eat those colors, okay? So for example, it has me eating 4 greens every day. Okay, so what I would do is fill up this container 4 times a day, and eat that many portions, or 4 servings of vegetables, pretty much. So these are how many servings per day that you get. So I would get 3 servings of fruits a day. I would get 4 servings of reds a day, which is protein. I would get 3 servings of yellows, which are healthy carbs. I would get 1 serving of blue, which is a healthy fat. 1 serving of orange, which is nuts and seeds and dressings, okay? So you get my gist, right? You also have teaspoons down here for your oils and your nut butters, all right? So the important thing about this is number 1, that you're following your specific meal plan, the calorie equation, because they are different based off of the average amount of calories you burn within that workout. So if you have a higher intensity workout, you're going to burn more calories, or an average of more calories. So your body needs so many calories, or a calorie range, to function properly, so that you are not in a state of starvation. I call it starvation mode, okay? Even if you're not physically hungry, your body still needs a specific amount of calories so that you're not, it's not feeding off of itself. It's not like storing fat. I think of it as like a bear in hibernation mode. Bears hibernate. They just like they eat a bunch of food, and then their bodies hold on to that fat storage to eat off of, right? Which ends up eating muscle if you are not taking in enough calories, okay? So if you're not taking in enough calories, your body will actually start to hold on to fat and eat that muscle. So you're not going to lose the weight that you want, or you might lose weight fast, and then you're going to hit a plateau, and then you're going to damage your metabolism. So point being here is make sure that you're following your specific meal plan, but also make sure that you are in the right calorie bracket. I see this all the time. I already know that there's going to be someone in this group that doesn't watch this video, or that just ignores me, but they're going to drop calorie brackets because they're going to say, oh, well, I'm in this high calorie bracket over here, and that's just way too much food, so I'm just going to drop down and go to this calorie bracket. Or, I was told that I'm only supposed to eat 1,200 calories, so I'm going to be in this bracket even though I'm supposed to be in this bracket. Y'all, your body, this was designed by certified dietitians and nutritionists, the top certified dietitians and nutritionists in the country. So please listen to it, okay? I know firsthand not eating enough can damage your metabolism and make it that much harder to lose weight or to maintain that weight loss once you lose it, okay? Trust me, I've been there. So please, please, please make sure that you're in the right calorie bracket. It is a lot of food. So if you are sitting here thinking like, these little containers, I'm going to be starving, I promise you, you are not going to be hungry. If you are hungry, maybe you're more active during your day. Maybe you're not sitting at a desk, you're on your feet, you're doing manual labor, you're lifting heavy boxes, or whatever it might be. Maybe you're a personal trainer or some type of, teacher, and you're just on your feet a lot or moving around a lot. You're very active. You might be burning more calories than the average person does throughout their day. So you might have to actually bump up a calorie bracket, which can be somewhat scary mentally. I know that people will think like, oh no, I shouldn't be eating more, I should be eating less. It's not always the case, okay? So listen to your body. If you are hungry, add in a green container and a red container. And if you're still hungry, then we might have to bump you up a bracket. If you are physically incapable of eating all this food, like you're like feeling like you're gonna throw up, you're like, this is way too much food, maybe you're in one of the highest brackets and you're like, I physically cannot eat this food. Like I cannot stick one more thing in my mouth. That is totally fine. Your body is gonna take some time to adjust to eating this much food and this good of food. So like, if you notice, who here, and I know I've been very guilty of it, can sit in front of a TV and like eat a bag of chips, and by the end of the show you realize that you're almost emptied the entire bag. Or same thing with Oreos. I know I can't just eat one Oreo, so I always use this as an example. Like I can't just have one Oreo. I eat a ton of them, and then afterwards, like I'm not that full. It's because those things, those prepackaged crap food, junk food, doesn't have any nutrients in it, doesn't have any vitamins in it, doesn't have anything that actually fuels your body or fills you properly. So that's why you can eat a lot of those things, whereas when you're eating something like fruit or vegetables or protein, that fills you up quicker because it's made with real food. It's made with a ton of nutrients and vitamins in it, so that that those things fill your body quicker than something like Cheetos or Oreos, okay? So if you are used to eating that junk food and you are in one of these higher brackets or even in the lower bracket, it can be a lot of food. It can seem like a ton of food and you get full faster. Your body takes some time to adjust to it, okay? So make sure you are doing your best to get in all your containers. Again, if you physically feel like you're force feeding yourself, don't do that. Just try and cut your containers in half, meaning if you have, you get to the end of your day and you have a yellow container, a red container, and 2 green containers, and you're like, I'm not that hungry, then eat half the red, half the yellow, and 1 of your green. Just do your best to try and get them all in. Another thing that I'm going to mention, and I know someone here is going to ignore me, but it's very, very, very important to understand. Do not, I'm going to repeat that, do not cut out certain food groups. I see this a lot with your yellow container, which is our healthy carbs, okay? Society these days have made, for some weird reason, in our minds have made us believe that carbs are bad. And that carbs are really bad for your body and that you're not going to be able to lose weight if you're eating carbs. And that's not true, okay? Your body needs complex carbs. Your body needs healthy carbs, especially when you're working out, to be able to fuel your body, okay? So do not cut your yellow containers. Do not cut your blue containers unless your meal plan calls for it. And none of our meal plans call for it the entire time, okay? So for example, Shift Shop meal plan, you eat carbs throughout your first 2 weeks and then you cut them yellow container wise your last week. Vegetables are carbs, purples are carbs, which is your fruits. Those are carbs as well, but they're different types of carbs, okay? So please, 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 please do not cut your carbs. When I have people reach out to me and they're like, I'm not seeing any progress, I'm not seeing any weight loss, or my clothes are not fitting any better. Normally, they're either doing one of two things. They're not eating enough, so they're not in the right calorie bracket. They're skipping containers. They're just not fueling their body enough, or they're skipping carbs. And then they're like, oh, well, I thought that I could cut my carbs and it'll help me lose weight faster. No, your body needs them, okay? So please make sure that you're not cutting any type, and even healthy fats, same thing with your healthy fats, your proteins, any of that. Please do not cut any of that out. Follow this as closely as you possibly can, all right? So let's talk about what's on these meal plans or what's on these lists, okay? So as you see in your guides and in your meal plans, there's lists of food that is approved, that is meal plan approved, all right? Basically, if it's not on these lists, it's not approved. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, you cannot have anything that's not approved on this meal plan at all, forever. I'm not going to tell you that. I eat pizza. I indulge a little bit every once in a while, okay? And that's totally fine. But I have a lot of people that will like message me or message Ashley saying like, well, can I have this? And it's not on the meal plan. And I'm not going to tell you like, yes, you can have it because it's not on the meal plan. So if it's not on these lists, it's not approved. We'll talk about treat meals later on this week, but if it's not on the meal plan, it's not approved. Plain and simple. All right. So and we're going to talk too also about meal prepping and planning. But when I first got my plans or my program, I went through these lists and I scratched out what I didn't like. So if it's on this list and you don't eat it or you don't like it, don't buy it, right? That's what I love about these meal plans is because they're so customizable to you, to what you actually enjoy eating. I am not a huge veggie person. I have never been a huge, I don't mind them now, but when I was younger and like all through college, like I just, veggies are okay, right? But and I always thought like, oh, I have to force feed myself salad. I hate salad. I have to be like in a really good mood for salad, which doesn't happen very often. But, I used to think like I would have to force feed myself salad to be able to be healthy or to be able to lose weight. And that's just not the case. If you don't like something, y'all, don't eat it. All right. I don't eat fish. I don't eat any type of fish, but I used to literally force feed myself fish thinking, well, it's super lean and it's going to help me lose weight. And I had a trainer that told me I had to eat fish. I didn't have an option. And I was miserable the whole time. Like this meal plan is not meant for you to be miserable. This meal plan is not meant for you to feel deprived. This meal plan is to help you learn balance. It's to help you learn proper portions for your body and to help you learn moderation and be able to live a lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, because this is not a diet, for life. This is not meant to just be a 21-day thing or a 30-day thing or a 40-day thing. This is meant to teach you lifestyle changes, okay? So make sure that you are not, so depriving yourself so much of something that you actually want to eat, and then you end up binge eating and going crazy after your 21 days, all right? So, again, if it's not on this list or these lists, try and stay away from it. The way that these lists are laid out, you'll see they're based off their colors. So you have your greens, which is your vegetables. And most of these nowadays come with these little fancy labels that you can put on them so you can remember, super easy. They didn't have that when I started. So you have your greens, which are your vegetables, your purples, which are your fruits. You have your reds, which are your proteins, your yellows, which are your healthy carbs, your blues, which are your fats, your oranges, or orange, which is your seeds and dressings, and then your teaspoons, which are your oils and your nut butters, okay? So the way that they're laid out is by color, and then some of these also have, you'll see on the side, like, for example, I've had people be like, oh, well, do I have to actually put, fill up this container with an orange, right? Like, it tells you one on the side, like one medium orange equals one purple. Same thing with your banana. This is one mistake I see a lot of people make. One full banana equals 2 purple. So half of a banana equals 1 purple because it's higher in sugar. So, a lot of times if they're like not seeing the results they want or hit a plateau or whatever, once we start talking, I'm like, what are you eating for your yellows? What are you eating for your fruits? And the reason being is because if they say, oh, I'm eating a banana, are you counting that as 1 purple or 2 purples? Because it's technically one full banana is 2 purples. So then they end up eating like they're actually eating an extra fruit, which is extra sugar. And again, your body will respond that way. If that small thing can make a huge difference, okay? So just make sure that you are reading this, that you're understanding what counts towards that one container, okay? Another thing that I like to mention is that the way that these lists are laid out is the higher up on the list, the more nutritional value it has for your body. Meaning, and I always go to the yellow tab because I see this a lot. Some of these plans like 21 Day Fix or I believe 21 Day Fix Extreme and a few of the other ones do allow things like whole grain bread or whole grain pastas or waffles or that kind of thing. Some of them don't. So again, check your specific meal plan. But I see this a lot with your yellows. So if someone is eating more of the higher list items like sweet potatoes, quinoa, beans, edamame, brown rice, they're more than likely going, because those are natural things that grow in the ground that aren't processed, right? Or shouldn't be processed. Whereas the lower list items are processed, so they usually contain more ingredients that more than likely are not as natural. They don't contain as many nutrients and vitamins. So if someone's eating these higher list items, they're more likely to see better results than those people that are eating those lower list items. Now, I'm not telling you you can't eat these lower list items. It's okay on occasion, but I wouldn't sit here and eat toast for every yellow container. If you have 2 yellow containers, I wouldn't eat 2 pieces of toast every single day for 21 days straight. Now, I'm not saying you won't see results if you do that. I've just seen in the last 3.5 years that people who stick to the higher list items are the ones that get the better results, as long as they're sticking to the meal plan and doing the workouts, okay? So make sure that y'all understand that as well. And then same thing with your teaspoons. Make sure you're measuring out your oils. Y'all, olive oil, coconut oil, all that is extra fat. And again, it's not bad for you. Your body needs that, but make sure you're not over eating those healthy fats, okay? It goes over free foods like seasonings and spices and whatnot. Some of these plans allow you to have wine. Some of them don't. So again, make sure you're checking your plan. But it all talks about, milk and what it counts towards and all that fun stuff here. I forgot to mention your red container. Shakeology by itself equals 1 red container. I know we are going to talk about Shakeology, but I just want to make sure, Ashley did talk about Shakeology. I just want to make sure you understand that your red container is equal to 1 Shakeology. If you add stuff to it, like fruit, then it would be 1 red, 1 purple. If you're adding spinach to it or any type of veggie to it, it would be 1 red, 1 green, and if you add fruit, 1 purple, okay? So make sure that you are counting all your containers for your Shakeology as well. Some of these books go over, or some of these meal plans go over treats. And then they have some recipes as well in each of our meal plans, which is pretty cool. A lot of them are very, very good. They have some salad dressing recipes. They have some Shakeology recipes back there as well. So make sure you check that out, okay? So these little guys right here, a lot of people are like, okay, wait, so I have to fill up my container, like, I'm in bracket, I'm opening it so I make sure I tell you all the right thing. I'm in bracket A, and I have to fill up my red container 4 times a day. Like, I only have 1 red container, so how do I do that? How does that work? We will go over more of the meal prepping, planning over the weekend, but I do want to just mention that because I know that, like, looking at all this and trying to understand it can be a little bit overwhelmed. So pretty much how I do this is when I'm prepping my food, I just use these as like measuring cups. I do sometimes use them when I'm like storing my food, but for the most part, because for me, it's easier to just grab and go instead of sitting there and like trying to fill up my red container and measure it out and run out the house or whatever. I just do it while I'm prepping. So for example, when I want, cucumbers for a snack, for the few days that I'm prepping or whatever, I take my green container, cut up my cucumbers, take my green container, pour them in there, close the lid to make sure that they can fit, and then I take those cucumbers that I put in here and pour them into a Ziploc bag or put them into a Rubbermaid container or whatever it might be. So that way I'm not really having to like store my food in this. Again, if you want to use them for that, you totally can. But it is easier if you have some type of like containers that you can throw your food in after you use these to measure it out. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Does anyone have any questions in regards to the meal plan? Again, y'all, I went over, I used this guide because I know a lot of you are doing 21 Day Fix. But if you're doing another program like 21 Day Fix Extreme or Shift Shop or Quarter Force or any of those programs, make sure that you are checking that specific meal plan. Again, you can go on to Beachbody On Demand, where it says program, you click on your program, you click on program materials, and it's going to pull up those lists. A lot of the lists are very, very similar into what's allowed, but there are minor tweaks here and there. Like for example, Shift Shop, no grains at all, meaning no brown rice, no breads, no pastas, whereas on the 21-day fix, you can have those things. So, it just depends on the program. It just depends on the intensity level. It depends on, it just changes. So what works, whatever you want to do as far as your program goes, you pick your program, but you follow that program's meal plan, okay? I hope that makes sense. I hope that that's easier to understand. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Oh, there is something that someone asked yesterday, and I want to make sure that I touch on this. So someone asked yesterday, like, if I'm in the middle of my round for 21-day fix, say you're doing that program, and you measure yourself or you get on the scale and you're down and it would be putting you into the next calorie bracket underneath. So say you're in B and you're like right at the cusp, like you're, not that far away from A. You do not change calorie brackets in the middle of your round. So if you're doing a 21-day program, you stick to that calorie bracket the entire 21 days, and then you would like at the end, you would remeasure yourself, you would reweigh yourself, and then, based off your goals, if you're going to be doing that program again, or if you're going to be moving on to a new program or whatever it might be, you would recalculate to see where you fall. Like I said, when I first started, I did 21-day fix first, and I was in calorie bracket A because I had 50 pounds to lose. I needed to lose 50 pounds, whereas now I don't want to lose 50 pounds. I don't want to lose any weight. I want to maintain my weight loss. I want to gain muscle. I want to gain muscle mass and still get lean, but not necessarily lose weight. So I'm in a completely different calorie bracket than when I first started. Okay, so make sure it's all based off your goals. It's all based off of your current weight. So make sure that you are following that specific calorie bracket, that specific meal plan. And if you'll have questions specific to your meal plan, to your program, please let us know, okay? We want you to ask questions. We want you to fully understand how this works so that when we start on Monday, you aren't overwhelmed. You don't, stress out about it, because again, y'all, this is a learning process. If this is the first time you've ever used these containers or ever, follow one of our programs, it takes some time to learn. But once you get it down, it's like the simplest thing ever. It really is. A lot of people tend to overthink this. A lot of people tend to how do I figure out my calories, or, how do I remember what containers I'm using, which I will make a post later today talking about some tips that, or some tools that you have access to that will help with that. But, just don't get overwhelmed. That's like my biggest tip. Just take it day by day. Print out your materials. So print out your meal plan guide so that you can physically read through it. Don't just print it out. Read through it. If you have questions, ask. And that's it. That's really my tips for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the group, opposed to just messaging one of the coaches here, because honestly, a lot of you probably have the same exact questions, and when you ask a question that your fellow challenger has, it will help them understand it as well. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions for me, let me know. We'll talk later. Bye, everybody.